Was the idiom "a dish fit for the gods" always about food? What is its connection to the Roman leader Julius Caesar? Does it have anything to do with the Caesar salad? What does "beware the Ides of March" mean? Who said "et tu, Brute"? And to whom? What does it mean? Is the word brutal connected to the name Brutus? All this and much more coming up, but first, do subscribe to the English Note. Thanks. On their first date, Angad cooked a dish fit for the gods. For Meghna, it was love at first bite. That was an example of how we might use the idiom, "a dish fit for the gods," to talk about superlative food. But this idiom originally had a lot more bite to it. In fact, it was quite murderous. If we recall the way Shakespeare first used it in his play Julius Caesar, we may never again want to apply it to the food we eat. The play tells the story of Julius Caesar's friend Brutus and others, who decide to assassinate Caesar as they are unhappy with his growing power. The following are Brutus's words to Caius, his co-conspirator, as they plan the murder. "Our course will seem too bloody, Caius Cassius, to cut the head off and then hack the limbs, like wrath in death and envy afterwards. Let's kill him boldly, but not wrathfully. Let's carve him as a dish fit for the gods, not hew him as a carcass fit for hounds." Brutus was mindful that they should not tear Caesar from limb to limb, an act that would make them look like butchers. He knew it would be better to position himself and his co-conspirators as noble citizens who reluctantly sacrificed Caesar to save the Roman Republic, which is being endangered by the concentration of power in Caesar's hands. That is why the plan was to kill Caesar in such a way that his corpse would be seen as a sacrificial offering fit for the gods. Caesar might have saved himself from being assassinated had he paid heed to the portents that came his way. His wife had an ominous dream, and she had begged Caesar not to go to the meeting of the Senate. He had also been told by a stranger, an unknown soothsayer, to beware the Ides of March. But despite this warning and his wife's dream, Caesar allowed himself to be lured to the meeting hall at the Curia of Pompey, where he was murdered. When I first read the statement, "Beware the Ides of March," I was mystified by it. What did it mean? It turns out that the 15th of March was called the Ides of March. In fact, according to the Roman calendar, the middle day of every month was called Ides, or rather Idus, the word in Latin from which Ides is derived. The Ides of March, of course, became notorious in the annals of Roman history as the day in 44 BC when Caesar was assassinated. "Et tu, Brute" is another famous line from Julius Caesar. When he's being stabbed by the conspirators, he staggers towards his friend Brutus, appealing to him, but Brutus stabs him as well. Unbelieving, Caesar utters his dying words, "Et tu, Brute." Then falls Caesar. "Et tu, Brute" is Latin for "even you, Brutus." While it's true that Brutus brutally murdered Caesar, the word brutal is not derived from the name Brutus. Originally, the word Brutus meant heavy in Latin, but later its meaning was extended to refer to the crude irrationality of beasts. The word brutal appeared in English in the 15th century to mean typical of beasts. But the story of Julius Caesar probably did influence the later usage of brutal to mean the cruel savagery of humans. So there is a connection between brutal and Brutus after all. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars but in ourselves. This is one of the most famous lines across all of Shakespeare's works. Let me add the words that come just before and after it to give it context. "Men at some time are masters of their fates. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars but in ourselves, that we are underlings." Cassius, the ringleader of the murder plan, says this to Brutus to manipulate him into joining hands with him. Through these lines, he conveys to Brutus that they are just as capable of being rulers, so why should they settle for being subordinates to Caesar? They are masters of their own fate and can choose to act in their own interest, rather than blaming their underling position on the stars. Actually, Cassius couldn't handle the fact that the Roman people treated Caesar like a rock star, which is why he hatched this plan to murder him. He got Brutus's support by convincing him that he was the ideal candidate to replace Caesar. To make his motive seem noble, Cassius invoked the fact that Rome was a republic, a state not ruled by a king. And Julius Caesar had become an absolute monarch, all but in name, thus damaging the republic. A woman is a dish for the gods. This line, which is similar to the one we've been discussing, appears in Shakespeare's Antony and Cleopatra. In the climax of this play, when Cleopatra is about to take her own life, a clown appears. Clowns and jesters often appear in Shakespeare's plays to convey significant facts or ideas. Cleopatra asks him if the snake that has been brought to her as the instrument of her suicide would eat her. The clown replies, "A woman is a dish for the gods, if the devil dress her not." In other words, women are made for the gods, except those corrupted by evil. Bloodshed, murder, suicide, these are the origins of the dish for the gods. I love the salad known as Caesar salad and used to think of it as a dish fit for the gods, but after knowing what that idiom originally meant, I'm not so sure. How did Caesar salad get its name? Is it named after the murdered Roman ruler? Before I get into that, let me describe a Caesar salad, just in case you're not familiar with it. It's a salad of romaine lettuce and croutons, tossed in a creamy dressing, made with eggs, olive oil, lemon juice, Parmesan cheese, Worcestershire sauce, and anchovies. Romaine is a type of lettuce with crisp, long leaves. Parmesan cheese is a type of Italian cheese. Worcestershire sauce is a pungent sauce containing soy sauce and vinegar that was first made in Worcestershire, England. Note the unexpected pronunciation of Worcestershire. If we pronounced it as it's spelled, we would say Worcestershire, but that would be too easy. Anchovies are a type of small fish that are preserved in salt and oil. Anchovies were apparently not a part of the original recipe, but are now a common ingredient in the salad. It turns out that Caesar salad does not get its name from the assassinated Roman leader. It is named after Caesar Cardini, an Italian immigrant who had restaurants in the US and Mexico. He is said to have invented the salad at his restaurant called Caesar's in Tijuana, Mexico. When the restaurant was unusually busy and the kitchen was running short of supplies, Cardini put together this recipe with available ingredients. Flair was added to the salad by having the chef prepare it at the diner's table. You should try Caesar salad if you get the chance. I can assure you that it bears little resemblance to the carved up Roman leader. Do you have any other favorite phrases from Shakespeare? Do write them in the comments section. Do subscribe to The English Nut on YouTube. Click on the bell icon too so that you can be notified as soon as I publish a new video. I'm The English Nut. Bye for now.